In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. Sitting across from me is the one and only Cash Krause. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, you know, same as always.
Shitty?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hating every second of existence.
Yep,
No.
yep. It is a slow crawl to that dusty grave.
It is. You know, Cash, we are like almost 300 episodes into this podcast.
Sure
We've
are.
had it for about 3 years.
Yep.
But today we are reviewing something that we have
Special
never.
day.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
have.
special day.
It is. We are reviewing something that we have never reviewed before.
New ground.
New grounds.
Just like Armstrong stepping onto the moon. We are
Right.
equally as brave.
One small step.
Yep.
For
Yeah,
man.
because today we are reviewing not a television show,
Nope.
not a film. Well, it's technically a film.
Not a web series.
Not a web series, not a short. We've never reviewed a short.
No, we have not.
It's on the docket.
It is.
It's
That should be next.
So I don't know why I said that,
That's not
but not a trailer,
No,
but a play,
a play and
a musical, a sung through.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Anyone out there? It's a little musical called Hamilton. Didn't really catch much traction. Heard it
Not
was
even sure why they made the
overrated.
film adaptation
Yeah,
because no one was asking for it.
No one asked for it.
No
at
one
all.
asked for it. Yeah,
one was
unless
singing
you've
the
been living
soundtrack.
under a fucking rock, or
Yeah.
maybe there's something not right in your head.
Right.
You know about Hamilton.
Of course.
You know that
is,
you can't afford to go see it. That's
That
one
is
thing.
something we
That's one
found
thing
out.
you know.
Yeah.
You know immediately.
Well, we had talked about that like months ago on the podcast, how it came to Portland a couple times, but we were like, yeah, no. The cheapest ticket way up in the boondocks was $550. And
Yeah.
I wanted to see this bad, but I did not have that sort of funds.
Which I think-
I had to start a GoFundMe just to go.
I know. I had to take a second mortgage out of my
Right,
home,
understandable.
which is not good because I'm
No.
in deep with the bank now.
Well, you got to do what you got to do,
I had to see
right?
it.
You had to
But
see
yeah,
it.
so this is. So that being said, it's kind of awesome that they did that. They
so awesome.
If you haven't heard right now, Hamilton is being released on Disney Plus. It was released July 3rd, day before our Independence Day. God bless America.
Seriously.
But
And-
yeah, because they knew America needed it.
Oh, of course. Well, this was actually originally supposed to be released theatrically, I should say, rather, October 21st, 2021.
And I
so
would've
about
saw
a
it.
year and a half in the future. But because of this whole COVID-19 pandemic, Disney Plus decided to release it July 3rd, 2020. And thank God that they did, because this was just so much fun.
Well, yeah, it was going to be released in like snippets, so you weren't even going to see the whole. It was going to be with a documentary about the entire thing, so you wouldn't have got to see the entire thing through. But yeah, man, I'm so happy, and we're not. I mean, I've been to a play. I've been to a few, so we're not super into it, but we don't go every day or whatever.
No.
We're not on the Broadway beat. You know,
No,
we're
we
not.
aren't.
We're not
No,
the
we
first
don't
people
see
to
the
know.
greatest.
Yeah, we're not. But yeah, I mean, it's. I guess when you see a good one, you just kind of know it's.
Oh,
good.
you know.
I mean, you don't have to be a heavy reviewer of plays to know when something is good. And this, I'm so glad that this did come out because I had fun the entire way through.
Lin-Manuel. We got to talk.
Well, yeah,
gotta talk about him.
it's his brainchild. What he wrote the music. He's the creator. He's not the director, which is only because he was doing it.
Well, because he was the star of the show.
Because I think he
while
was also
did it.
maybe working lights. The guy did everything for this man. And
Talk about talent.
he is kind of a genius, isn't he?
God.
Especially with how much he's doing now, and now he's kind of has his hands in everything.
Yeah. And it's like, I did not originally know that Hamilton, the entire thing, was a musical. Because, you know, in a lot of musicals, you'll have singing numbers, dance numbers and stuff, and then you'll go to dialogue. And then with the title Hamilton, I go, oh, for sure, this is a political, there's going to be dialogue and then music, dialogue and then music. The dialogue is in the music throughout this entire thing. And it does not miss a beat the whole time. Every single song moves to the next portion of Alexander Hamilton's life. It worked so well. Like, you are right. Lin-Manuel, fantastic. I don't know how you're able to write something like this, but he's an absolute genius.
He is, and it's a sung through, so it doesn't have any dialogue at all, which I've seen. The play I saw was Jersey Boys. I saw Jersey Boys live, and it was amazing. But it's a musical, but it's, you know, it has dialogue. It's not sung through. So yeah, going into that and knowing that it was 3 hours long. I mean, I knew that everyone was saying it's amazing and everything, but I didn't know that either, and I did not care at all.
No.
Which normally, if I would see a movie that's sung the entire way, I'd probably be dreading it. Well, because all the music is so fucking good too.
And
Let's
talk about the hype for literally 4 years of this musical, like, out there hearing about Hamilton over and over and over. And then when I finally realized in the first 10 minutes that this whole thing was a musical, I go, oh, I don't know if this is going to keep my interest. Yeah. Like, that was and I'm just being honest, that was an honest take on that. Because I was like, man, the last musical I saw was Cats. And that didn't pique my interest at all. It was awful, horrible.
And that was a sung through as well.
It was a sung through as well. So, but with this, man, it was the storytelling was great. And the musical numbers, every single song throughout this soundtrack was awesome. I listened to it all weekend at work.
Oh, I'm still listening. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is it felt very, watching it all the way through, it felt very Disney to me. Just because, and that being said, in the best way, it's just all the songs were very catchy, and you could sing along with them, and all the songs kind of told a story, you know. In every Disney musical, all the songs, you know, they talk, it's character development. So every time, and I bring it up, but because Lin-Manuel Miranda, he also did Moana, and this just had Moana vibes, because Moana is one of my favorite Disney musicals. It's so good, especially of the modern ones. Where
still not seen it.
Oh, I gotta see. I was not a huge Frozen fan, but I was a huge Moana fan when it came out. Man, I thought the music was awesome, and it's got The Rock in it. So
yeah,
you know, if you're like everyone else in the world, you got a big old boner for The Rock,
of course. Well, talking about Disney, I mean, there were a lot of people in this musical who had ties to Disney.
Well, I was blown away by the original cast of this is all fucking stars. I could imagine going to this play and be like, oh, all these people are in fucking movies.
Oh, I recognize all these people.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, I couldn't believe that, man. And it's shot in 2016. We gotta bring that up too. So it's shot like kind of at the end of right before they all kind of went their own way, before the original cast went off there on their own. But these guys are all fucking heavy hitters, starting with Lin-Manuel, but then every single one of them, especially King George.
I never knew Jonathan Groff was so damn talented in my life. The first thing I'd ever seen Jonathan Groff in was Mindhunters on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then I really start looking through this guy's history. He's won a Grammy. He's won a Tony. He's like one of the most versatile men I've
apparently
ever seen.
He started off on Broadway, and if you don't know Jonathan Groff, like you said, what we know him from Mindhunters, but I had no idea this guy was
so talented.
Well, I didn't know he had roots in Broadway, and it's when someone that comes up from Broadway and then makes their way into film, they are always just so much more versatile than most actors. They can go their range is so much, and this guy, dude, he's a fucking excellent singer. And if you just know his character from Mindhunters, you're like,
this is a complete 180.
Weird.
It's not even the same person.
Well, it was just so weird seeing, like, my brain couldn't really connect it, like seeing him sing and being so funny and singing so well. Because musicals, it's a completely different beast. Because it's stupid to say, but it's all live. There's no different takes where film is so safe. because you can keep doing it and whatnot.
You have take after take if you want.
Exactly.
Time is money, but you still have the option.
Yeah, and it's all, set, and I mean, there's no outside variables. But in Broadway, man, it's no second takes or anything. You gotta fucking nail it. And that puts so much pressure on even the viewer. You're like, oh my God, dude, these guys. But seeing Jonathan Groff come out as King George and start spewing spit everywhere.
Awesome.
And have one of the catchiest, funniest songs out of the
You'll
entire
Be
thing.
Back.
I was rolling.
Great.
I was laughing out loud. I thought it was
Not only that, but he's such a great physical actor as well. His physical mannerisms where he's like going like this, back to back with his shoulders as he's singing the song. It was just hilarious. And it was one of the highlights of Hamilton for me.
And I thought he was just a dramatic actor. That's all I thought it was. I thought that was the only thing I knew because he's in Matrix 4.
Yeah,
he's gonna be the next agent. So I thought, oh, that's his role. He's always gonna be kind of because in Mindhunter he plays an agent as well. So I thought that was always gonna be his kind of typecast. But man, this guy could do anything.
He can.
I wanted to play King George and other things. Like I want to do. I want to see him more, but. I was just so pleasantly surprised when I saw him. His song when he's singing and like a chick walks in front of him and then he just kind of like glares at her and like the guys come and swarm her like take her away and they go and shoot her. It's so funny, but he comes out of nowhere and he's also the narrator.
He is in the opening.
Which is hilarious. And I know he was the first person to leave out of the original cast.
Yeah,
he left 2 months before they shot.
And actually came back for it.
And came back, So I mean, that's how good he is. Is he was already fucking on his way out by the time this thing came around. Yeah. But he is going to be huge, and there's a lot more famous people in it too. David Diggs, who plays Thomas Jefferson. We last saw him in Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yes.
Do you remember him in a movie that we did not like very much, or at least I did not enjoy very much.
Yeah. I thought it was all right.
But he plays Lafayette, and he also plays Thomas Jefferson. But man,
a lot of dual roles in this production.
He was excellent too. And someone commented on Reddit, and it was perfect. But they said David Diggs has the perfect weird energy to be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean. And I thought, man, you're right. I think he would be fucking perfect in Pirates of the Caribbean. He'd be awesome as it. I think he's really good. But and who plays Burr too? Burr was fucking excellent too. The actor who plays Burr.
Yes,
because Burr is
he's got a fantastic
Burr's
voice.
second leading. I mean, he's right up in there with Hamilton. I think he's in every scene.
Yeah, he's in a lot.
I think he's in every scene that Hamilton is Burr. But that's
well, he had some great musical numbers.
That's
too,
Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah,
but man, he was fucking excellent, and I was surprised too because again how popular it was. So much about it going in already without seeing it. But I was really surprised by kind of the range that Burr, the character, had, and kind of the range of all of them had. It was cool to see like the inner workings, even though it's a musical and it's fictionalized, it's dramatized, I would say. But it's cool to see like the inner workings of how all the founding fathers fucking hated each other. They barely got along at all.
Yeah,
they hardly ever, man.
Yeah, they all had different political ideas too,
and they all had different ideas of how the country was gonna run. And Burr going into it, I thought Burr was just gonna be this one-dimensional, bad guy. But he was not. He was this. It showed that he was kind of this weird kind of introvert, and he was an opportunist for sure. But he was, he was just he was a complicated character.
Yeah.
And it was definitely complicated with him killing fucking Hamilton. It essentially ruined his career.
Well, loose lips sink ships, and that's kind of was his philosophy. Is he always played his cards close to his chest. He never, no one ever knew what he stood for. And that was kind of the deciding factor with Hamilton towards the end choosing between Burr or Thomas Jefferson. And even though he hated Thomas Jefferson, he went with he endorsed Jefferson instead.
Yeah, which is crazy, but yeah, and I've heard things that he's been overcharacterized Burr, and that's not how he was in real life. But again, it doesn't matter for the play.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But but I thought he did excellent. His songs were all really, really good too, especially the duel at the end where it's like it's no music at all, and they kind of do the slow motion, but slow motion for Broadway. Yeah. So it's like,
but it looked really awesome.
It looked awesome, and with the girl playing the bullet or whatever, I thought that was all really fucking
really
cool.
Good.
And we got to talk about it, but the set was like this rotating set that I thought was so cool.
I brought it up 5 or 6 times while I was watching it with Mary. I just loved it.
It was awesome.
I loved it.
So
man.
cool, so creative, and it
Yes.
works so well for so many of the different songs. Especially the first song when they're doing the first duel against Charles Lee. That's when they first start using, and they do what the 10 duel
songs,
commandments or whatever like that.
Yep.
And,
And the 10 count too, because that's actually how duels happened in the olden days, and those were actually lawful. Like if you had a dispute with someone, 9 times out of 10, the dispute would be resolved before they would have a duel. But that was definitely a real thing that happened in history.
Yeah, which is again
wild.
So stupid.
It's so stupid. It's so archaic.
And to risk like the leaders of America. Like I could get if 2 farmers are having a duel, they're like, well, we got more fucking farmers.
Imagine
but
if
these guys are founding fathers.
Imagine if Biden and Trump did that to see who was going to be the next president.
Be like, well, this is a little wild, right? I mean, these people are running the country. I'm like, I have someone duel in their place or something.
I know.
It's wild. And usually the duels, though, they wouldn't end in like people getting shot. Like it was a popular thing just to go out and shoot your guns, and then you'd be like still a man. You'd be like, but some people are like, yeah, I'm just gonna shoot you. It's a duel.
Yeah.
And then everyone's surprised when people get shot. They're like, I can't believe it happened.
I know.
Don't be surprised, guys. It's gonna fucking happen. But simpler times for sure.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Easier to get things done.
Renee Elise Goldsberry, who plays Angelica. I thought she was phenomenal too. I thought her singing range, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Every time, dude. Like she really impressed me.
All the songs were fucking so catchy and so good. Yeah. Yeah, and I ended up learning a ton about Alexander Hamilton that I didn't know, and that I looked up after, and that they were really accurate, because this play is based on Hamilton's biography. Mm-hmm. So about learning about how that kind of a love triangle he had between, the sisters, you know what I'm talking about? So, and kind of how Hamilton, I was going into it thinking they were just going to be like, it's a Hamilton puff piece. But no, he was kind of an asshole.
And that's kind of the beautiful thing.
And everyone hated him. Everyone hated Hamilton. I mean, the leaders around him, everyone had disliked him.
Well, right, because he was just kind of honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, and he stood for things that they didn't really stand for at a time. Things were that kind of controversial, like a bank. People didn't like the idea of a national bank, and I mean everyone did owe money to this bank and everything. But Hamilton was ahead of the curve, I guess. But yeah, not a lot of people liked him.
No,
enjoyed him, and fucking Jefferson was kind of an asshole too. But man, when Jefferson first comes in, man, his songs, I love it. This is how history should be taught. I mean, Hamilton should be shown in schools. Like, you should have your section of like learning about the Revolution, and then show kids like in high school this after you learn about, so they can connect it all.
Connect the dots.
Because you learn so much about it, and I don't know, it was just awesome to see it all of it unfold before your eyes.
So I wanted to talk about the filming, because it had confused and baffled me. It opened up with an audience. The audience is cheering and applauding before the show starts. But throughout this musical, they started doing like close-ups and stuff. And I'm like, how in the hell did they get these close-ups with the audience? Were they bringing cameramen out? That'd be so distracting.
Yeah.
But I guess they shot this over a 3-day period.
Yeah.
They shot one with a full studio audience, or not studio audience, theater audience. And then the other 2 days were made for like crane shots and close-ups and steady cam footage. So, but I thought that was fascinating, because they did a really good job in editing, because I didn't notice at all.
Oh, yeah. It makes sense for sure. Yeah, you got to have the close-up, I guess. And it just baffles you that it's like, this is how they should have done Cats. Like, okay, cast all these huge stars and then do Cats like this, and release it. I mean, because I would have been one of, I'm sure, a ton of people that went and saw this in October in theaters.
Oh yeah,
and paid a ticket. And I'm sure people would have done that for Cats too, especially if it ended up being this phenomenal thing where all these stars get together to reprise Cats, but it's just a play. It's just, why not do that?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't understand.
Instead, they blew, $200 million on Cats?
And what they spend shooting this? fucking...
hardly anything.
It was nothing.
Yeah, I think it was under 10 million.
Well, because they already had all the shit for the set and everything like that, and you already got cat shit too. So I really do think that we'll start getting more and more of this.
Big Broadway shows releasing it 5-10 years
because it's such a
down the road.
small section of people that get to see Broadway shows. You know, it's such a small portion of America.
I would. I go to Portland.
I would if I could afford it.
Well, I go to the Armory, and those tickets aren't bad at all. They're like $30-$40. You get good seats. I mean, it's a decent sized theater, but when it comes to like Broadway shows like Hamilton, like you cannot afford it. Like most Americans, most people cannot afford $550.
No.
So that's why this is really awesome that, 5-10 years down the road, you can release it so the general public can actually see this, because it is a masterpiece. Like this was, again, just one of the greatest theatrical pieces I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, and I don't get why they don't do more of this. Like I guess they think maybe it'll take away from maybe the Broadway experience, but I mean, after something has been out for 4 years or whatever, and by the time it rolls around to you, unless you live in New York, and you're a small percentage of the United States that live in New York, then you're not even getting the original cast by the time it comes to you, which is not bad. I mean, you're getting actors that are fucking amazing. I mean, they're the best that they could find to do the touring, but it's never the original. The original lasts like for a year, and then if it's really popular, I would love to see a theatrical Book of Mormon. Trey Parker, Matt Stone, with because Josh Gad was in that. Yeah. The original cast, and a bunch of famous people were in the original cast of Book of Mormon. So I would love to see again, just more productions like that. Because it's something that I think a lot of people would love to get into, but can't because Broadway kind of seems out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, this is something that I think everyone deserves to see, especially when it's something like about America.
Yeah,
I mean,
and told well.
Shouldn't Americans be able to? That's why I really hope schools should start showing this, because schools can show it no matter what, because it's for education.
Right.
So Disney can't sue them.
Yeah.
So I hope like you said, I hope everyone gets the chance, because it's so good. And even before, when it first came out, I was listening to the soundtrack without seeing the musical, because I thought I'd never get the chance to see the musical. And I remember, like you said, when it came to Portland, I was crushed that I could not afford tickets to go and see it. Yeah. But no one could.
No one can. I mean, the select few can. Who've done well in life.
Yeah, but I mean, but this is kind of play where it's like you don't. I mean, for one, it's a play about like Hamilton, who was a no one. He was an immigrant. He had no family. He had no roots or anything like that. So he came over, and so like the premise is like a premise that you would think everyone should be able to get a chance. And remember, they tried to do that when it went around. They would like do like 50 free tickets, but it'd be such a small amount of people that actually got that. So, but anyways, I thought it was really awesome. George Washington did a great job.
I was going to bring that up. We have to bring up Chris Jackson.
He comes in hard. Remember when it's first introduced?
Yeah.
It's so cool, because it's like they're introducing it like they introduce superhero in superhero films. Whenever you get an introduction to that, it's something fucking awesome. They do it the same way, but it's just founding fathers. So whenever you get a Jefferson or a fucking George Washington, when they get first introduced, they get fucking introduced hard. And the song, the rap, because it's always a rap when they get introduced, and they just fucking come in spitting.
And that was one of my favorite things about this production too, was anytime there were floor debates, they did it as a rap battle.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. That was awesome. So fucking awesome.
So cool. And then like to be able to, obviously to have them rhyme and stuff back and forth, it was just so cool because they were hitting points going back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. I loved it.
And it'd be something that normally would be so boring to learn about. I mean, to really learn about the debate that went on or whatever. And you don't get to see, the details you won't get to see. So have it like in that in a rap and still be able to learn a lot about it. It's an awesome way to present it. And again, very unique for lin-manuel to even think about it.
Very catchy too, where it's like you can learn history just by memorizing the
because they were debating about it was the National Bank debate.
Yes,
and you would think, oh, how could you make a rap about the National Bank debate? He does it.
He does.
He manages to do it because Yeah, him and Thomas Jefferson were the...
And even when George Washington had some of his singing, he literally took that out verbatim, some of his lines from George Washington's
A lot of it
speech.
was that, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the famous scriptures from the book of Micah that George Washington would often recite, he was able to throw that into this production too. It was so cool how he used so many different elements from history and put it together and have it all make sense.
Oh, yeah. It was surprisingly accurate for a musical about, the founding fathers.
Mm-hmm.
It was historically, it was surprisingly accurate. The only thing is maybe the characters were a little over embellished or something. But there's no proof that he had any relationship with that other sister.
Yeah.
Although they did have correspondence. They did write.
Well, and he also
to each
cheated
other.
on his wife.
Yeah, but not with the sister.
Not with his sister, but
With his sister, yeah.
He cheated on Eliza.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
and
With,
that's
I think,
final-
probably multiple women.
Yeah.
It only shows one. But yeah, but that was a big deal because everyone knew about it, you know.
And then he had to prove his innocence
Yeah.
with, laundering money.
Yeah, which I'm sure all
Or
of those,
espionage.
all of those guys were fucking other women.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. They were the founding fathers. They even rap about at one point about getting women and about how easy it is and how
Yeah.
because at one point
Ladies,
it's
that
like
song.
it's not rather if, it's rather which one. Remember when he's talking about the sisters? So, I mean, you got to think about it. These guys were like I don't know who's someone really famous right now. They were like the stars of the world back then. They're like a Tom Cruise, I guess, if that's relevant. But yeah, I mean they were the stars, I guess.
Yeah.
But the original stars, the original Avengers.
There you go.
How about that?
There you go.
How about that? Yeah, just kicking British ass.
Kicking ass, taking names.
It's the one thing that the French and Americans can bond over. It's their love of killing British people.
Very true.
Nothing that the French and the Americans love.
Maybe not so much anymore, but, back then.
If it came to blows, I have no doubt that the French would be willing to. I mean, because they still.
But, I mean, do we really want the French on our team?
A lot of people talk shit about our
Yeah,
French.
they do.
They are our oldest
Allies. That they are.
And they fought with us during every war. It's just they've gotten. I mean, you can't say anything about World War II because they were just ruled through by the fucking the greatest, probably the greatest army of that time was the German army.
Yeah.
So a lot of people talk shit about them, but I don't mind the French, and they can rap.
Yeah, they can.
Lafayette in this.
Lafayette.
He can
He was spitting
And
bars.
Lafayette was a badass too in real life as well. You know, they talk about it in this.
They do.
That was their go to. The card up their sleeve. Remember, was having Lafayette.
Yep.
Because again, the French, they love killing the British. Those fucking redcoats.
Yeah, redcoats.
And if you knew King George, you'd want to kill him too.
Probably. I love the lyrics in that song too. Like, I will send a fully armored battalion to show you my love.
Yeah.
Or I will kill your friends and family to show you my love.
And then when he comes in again, when they're all fighting, because Washington's stepping down and he's just like giggling because he's so happy that they're all fighting.
And then the John Adams too. He's making fun of John Adams being weak compared to George
Hilarious.
Washington.
It's like John Adams, and he's like doing the guy, like, that guy. And he's like 3 feet tall. Yeah, people didn't like Adams either.
No,
and Adams hated Hamilton. They don't talk about that very much, but they fucking hated each other.
Yeah, John Adams kind of glanced over in this.
Oh yeah, but they did not like each other. Again though, no one like those upper guys, no one liked except for Washington, you know, and that's why he was kind of protected.
Yeah,
because he had Daddy Washington.
it must be
protected.
nice to have Washington on your side.
Oh, Washington.
Again, the music phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, do you have anything else on Hamilton?
No, I would just say absolutely. It's long, and there's even an intermission.
There is an intermission.
There's a minute-long intermission. What are you supposed to go do?
That's
In my
what we
house.
were saying. I was like,
Is there a skip forward?
Yeah.
But in a minute's not a long intermission.
it's not long.
What do you have time to do in a minute?
Take a piss, maybe.
In a minute?
Oh yeah. Well, my bathroom is literally right next to my room. So.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everyone.
Well, not for everyone.
can put
but
yourself
you know
in
what?
other people's shoes.
Again, kind of being selfish here, but
Yeah,
this
I
is
know you are. I know
1
you are.
minute. That's what I can do.
A minute? Yeah, I can't do anything in a minute. I just can't. I had to skip. I did skip the minute though.
You
for
did.
this. I didn't take the break. I didn't. But yeah, I would tell everyone to watch it because
Yeah.
what I was getting at is it's 3 hours long.
It is.
It's a play. I mean, it's if you haven't gone to a play before, it's a play.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours long. If you go to play, you're sitting through the fucking play. They're never not. Jersey Boys, 3 hours long.
Oh, of course.
That's the story of fucking the Jersey Boys. But yeah, that's all I say. All I have to say is go and watch it. Because even knowing that the hype and everything, it lives up to the hype. Surprisingly,
It does, absolutely.
Not very many things live up to the hype.
And that's the thing too. There was so much pressure behind this.
Yeah.
Because God, dude, I would hear it for 4 or 5 years, and I have friends who like are so into theater, so into musicals, and like to actually live up to the hype is something that not a lot of things can do. I mean, how many times, Cash, have we been disappointed going to a movie after being hyped up about it for 6 to 8 months?
If you're me, it's every time.
Yeah.
It's every time you ever see a movie, you're end up being disappointed.
One of the rare cases where it actually did live up to the hype.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I would have to agree. And one of the rare cases, it has a higher than a 7.8 in IMDb.
It does.
Currently standing at a
9.1.
14,000.
It's a lot of votes too.
That's the film. It's not just the
Yeah,
musical.
not just
That's
the musical.
specifically the film. Yeah. Crazy.
Alrighty. Well, that is our review for Hamilton. If you guys like what you're seeing here and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell notification. We drop videos on our channel every single day, so go check us out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher for audio formats. We drop podcast episodes 5 days a week. Social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen a Podcast? Thank you so much for watching and listening. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Bye.